Okay, we are live. We are live, and I'm going to give people until about 8 o'clock sharp to gather up here. Okay, getting some people coming in. All right, 20 seconds and then we'll get started. Anybody comes in late, then so be it. By the way, my furnace is pumping right now. If you guys can hear it, I'm sorry, but this is the best I can do right now for reasons that have been gone into in prior streams. Okay. Let's get this show on the road. Hello, everybody. It is Monday evening. I think everybody is probably home from work. Everybody's probably done with dinner. And we can get to talking about what needs to be talked about. So, excuse me. Today was a pretty big day in the NFL. A little bigger than I expected. It was the start of what is known as the legal tampering period in the NFL. And basically, it was the first day in which agents and teams and players were legally allowed to discuss deals with each other. So, you know, before today, it was not legal for a guy like Cory to discuss signing with a team like the Seahawks or the Bengals or the Jets or the Chargers. It was only legal for him to discuss that kind of stuff with the Packers. Today it became legal, and what you end up getting in this is a lot of handshake agreements where everybody will agree that when free agency starts, X contract will be signed. Now, players can back out of these deals. They can. It's not locked up yet, but it's very rare. And any agent or player or team that is involved in making one of these handshake deals and then retracting it, you're probably going to have a hard time doing business in the future. So basically, if you see Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport report that a player has signed with a team in the next day or two, even though they technically haven't signed, you can pretty much take it to the bank that they're going there. So anyway, a lot of stuff went down today. This is what we call the first wave. The first wave are the most desirable players, the most expensive players, the best players. And these guys get overpaid. They do. And in most cases, it's worth it to overpay these players a little bit because they're really good and really valuable. Now, you end up paying more than they're valued, but sometimes that's what you have to do to get a game-breaking super stud. So, yeah, it is a luxury that only the teams with the most cap room can typically dive into. I want to repeat that. Players that get signed on a day like today are typically luxuries that only the most cap-happy teams can delve into. So we're going to talk about some stuff today because obviously I think there are a lot of people in the Seahawks fandom. I see them on Facebook, I see them on YouTube, I see them on Discord who are really upset, who are like, why aren't we doing anything? Why aren't we signing anybody? Why are we just basically floating in the middle of the Dead Sea? And I wanted to go ahead and dive into that a little bit because my perspective on this is a little different. I will say this. If you're irritated with the way this team has conducted themselves so far, then I understand. I myself got a little bit antsy today, and there were definitely times where like, you know, I wish we could do something just so I could know that the front office is alive. But that's not necessarily a great way to do business. Doing stuff just to do stuff is not exactly the way in which you want to run your team. You want to do stuff because doing said stuff makes sense and helps. So let's go through what happened today. And I think there will be some opportunity for those of you who are very upset to be upset. But let's try to break this down by player by player. So Field Goals has a nice list of the moves of significance that went down today. Once again, this isn't going to be every move, and technically these moves are not official. However, we can pretty much assume that they're all going to happen in a couple of days. So the day started, the big splash that kind of got us rolling was former Titans tight end Jonnu Smith reaching a $50 million deal with more than 2/3 of that money guaranteed with the more than 60% of that money guaranteed with the New England Patriots. And this was the first thing that Seahawks fans got mad about. They wanted Jonnu Smith. Some of them really liked him, and they saw him go somewhere else, and they're like, oh, what are we doing? What are we doing? It was the first thing that got people rolling, and I got to tell you guys, I don't see it. Jonnu Smith is a good player. He has never topped 500 receiving yards in a season, and he's never had double-digit touchdowns, I'm pretty sure. So looking at this and seeing the fact that he got $12.5 million a year and $31 million guaranteed, maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't. But I'm not going to sit here and crap my pants because we didn't get Jonnu Smith for this kind of money. Go look at Jonnu Smith's production over the last 2 years, and then go look at Gerald Everett's production. It's almost the same. The only difference is Jonnu Smith scores more touchdowns, but they both had between 400 and 500 receiving yards in each of the last 2 seasons. I don't doubt that Jonnu Smith is better than Gerald Everett, but he's not so much better that it makes sense to give him $30 million extra dollars. Oh, yeah, Drop Top. We could have afforded anybody. Yeah, Drop Top. Drop Top in chat says apparently we could have afforded Thuney or Lindsley if we wanted them. Yeah, we could have afforded anybody. We could have, but where does that leave you? What would you have had to do in order to afford them? You would have had to maybe let Bobby go, trade Lockett, restructure Wilson, let go of Reed, let go of Diggs, and, maybe you don't want to do that if you don't think that you have to. All right, so let's see here. Next move, Kevin Zeitler, 3 years, $22 million. Kevin Zeitler was not really on my radar because he wasn't available until a couple days ago when he got cut. But I will say that Kevin Zeitler is a pretty good player, and this is a pretty reasonable deal. This would not have been a bad idea to jump on. I will concede. Yeah, Y2K, Lockett had 100 catches last year. I don't think he's that good anymore. He's not great anymore, but he had 100 catches last year. People take that dude seriously. So, missing out on Kevin Zeitler. Okay, he wasn't really on my radar, but I understand that this looked like an opportunity that maybe we could have capitalized on. Y2K, you're joking, right? Nelson Aguilar got $14 million a year? Nelson Aguilar isn't even good. You have got to be kidding me. Ugh. Okay, so let's see here. Andrew Norwell was expected to be cut, but he instead reworked his deal. Nothing there. The Bills re-signed John Feliciano, 3 years, $17 million. No opportunity to get this guy because he never really hit free agency because he stayed with his original team. Marcus Golden was retained by the Cardinals, so no real opportunity to get this guy. Shaq Barrett stayed in Tampa. Very unlikely you could have pried him away from the Tampa Bay Bucks because he's just staying with his original team. Yeah, Shaq, 4 years, $72 million. I don't know if these were players that the Seahawks were that interested in getting, but maybe one or two people would have at least kicked the tires on it. Oh, no problem, Y2K. Just go ahead and renew whenever you can. Don't worry about it. The Lions kept Romeo Okwara, and the fact that he stayed with his original team and stayed on the same team as his brother tells you that we probably had no opportunity to get him, although I do like him. Pat Elflein reached an agreement on a 3-year, $13.5 million deal with the Panthers, formerly a Jet. This was not somebody that I had real interest in. It might have not been a terrible idea, but 2 years for $26 million. That's still a lot of money, Y2K. That's still not okay. That's still not okay. Nelson Aguilar has had one good season in his career. Anyway, this was not something that was on my radar. Okay, yeah, here's the Jonnu Smith thing again. Cam Irving will sign with the Panthers 2 years for $10 million. Cam Irving was not somebody that I was excited to bring in, so I do not care about that. Houston Texans added Andre Roberts, 2 years, worth up to $6 million. Not interested in this. The 49ers brought back Jason Verrett. Not really intrigued by that option either, although they did get him for like $5.5 million, which is actually pretty reasonable. Brandon Scherf got franchise tagged, Robert. Matthew Judon got picked up by the Patriots. I think they gave him like $70 million or something like that. I had no interest in Judon, especially at that price, so not concerned about that. Patriots added Jalen Mills, 4 years, $24 million. Not really interested in picking up Jalen Mills. Didn't really see how he benefited us. Let's see here. Lions linebacker Gerard Davis. I'm going to stop right there. I don't want another linebacker on this team unless he's making the veteran minimum, basically. Here was the next big punch of the day. Next big punch was Joseph Thuney of the Patriots signing a 5-year, $80 million deal with the with the Kansas City Chiefs. From the Patriots to the Chiefs. So, I understand that there are people out there who wanted Thuney on the Seahawks. I would have been happy with it. But here's my thing. After really studying this offseason, I feel like there are several really nice draft prospects at guard that we could get in the second round or even the third round and plug them in and have them start day one and have them be solid. So, for me, you're better off sticking to the draft this year for guard. You're better off drafting a guard and looking to free agency to fill your other holes because there are good guards in this draft. I really like Wyatt Davis. I really like Ben Cleveland. I really like David Moore. Probably one or two other guys I like too. So I understand that some people were upset when Joseph Thuney signed with the Chiefs. I can't really get upset about it. Obviously, Thuney's a great player, but I'm not convinced he's so much better than a guy like Gabe Jackson that it makes sense to, even if you want to do free agency, just get Gabe Jackson and probably give him, I don't know, $20 million, $25 million instead of giving Thuney $80 million. So, yeah, I'm not feeling it. All right, so next we had Ram safety John Johnson signing with the Browns, which is, if anything, good for us, I guess. And, ooh, this one hurts, guys. I can't lie. If you want to find one thing that happened today that actually hurt me, it would be the Chargers signing Corey Linsley. 5 years, $62.5 million. So let's take a few minutes to talk about this one. Because, you know, I'm not made of stone. I'm not made of stone. I really like Corey Linsley. I really like the idea of him coming here, and I thought we could fit him in, and I thought that it made a lot of sense for us to make him our big offseason get. But the Chargers were just in a better position. They have a quarterback on a rookie deal. That allows them to overpay for Linsley, and I think that they did. $62 million over 5 years for Corey Linsley is silly. I know some people will disagree with me, and in fairness, it's okay to overpay a little bit when you're talking about a great player like Linsley, but That is an overpay as far as I'm concerned. I could have seen 40 million, but not 62.5 million. And I'm sorry, we can't keep up. We just can't keep up with that because our QB is paid as much money as he is. And the Chargers QB is making like 3 hot dogs this year. So it is what it is, guys. There's nothing we could have done. I mean, honestly, I still wouldn't have wanted to get Lindsley at this price, even if we restructured Wilson and traded Lockett and da-da-da and da-da-da and da-da-da and done all this stuff. That's a lot of money for one player, and I just don't think that's the best way to tackle our offseason. That being said, Lindsley's really good. And I really wanted him here, and I'm sad. But I want to be very clear about one thing, and I'm going to take a minute to talk about this because I know this is the one that hurt a lot of people more. There are other centers. There are. David Andrews is really, really good. Austin Austin Ryder from the Chiefs, really good. Ted Karras from the Dolphins, really good. Ryguy, thank you for the $2. Is Scott Boras a football agent now? May as well be. Okay. There are decent center options still out there for us, like Ethan Posick. I'm sorry, but he's not bad. And if we got him back on a cheap deal, I would not be that upset about it. Like Alex Mack. Like Austin Blythe, if you prefer that route. So, Dark Shadows, get out of here. I'm not making you a mod. I don't even know who you are. Come on. I don't need more mods. I don't understand why people even want to become mods of channels they just joined. Like, it's a responsibility. It's not like you get candy or something. It's not like you get ice cream. Oh, cool, Costa Rican. So, yeah, Lindsley hurt me, but honestly, with the way this team likes to do business, overpaying for Lindsley might have been just as bad as getting him. And we would have had to overpay like hell. You know, we're talking 5 years, $65 million. I don't see it. I don't see it. Okay, moving on through the list. Next, we had Malik Collins signing with the Texans, 1 year, $6 million. He wasn't really on my radar. And that takes us to the end of the field goals article, unfortunately. At this point, they stopped updating it, but there was other stuff that happened. Let's jump over to Adam Schefter's Twitter and try to sort through it. Ryan Fitzpatrick signed with the Washington football team. That doesn't hurt me at all. Kevin Pierre-Louis signed a 2-year deal worth up to $8 million with the Houston Texans. I kind of wanted him as a backup, but I wouldn't have wanted to pay him that kind of money. Okay, what was he posting? Whoever banned Dark Shadows, what was he posting? I didn't even see it. Okay. I didn't want Kevin Pierre-Louis at that price tag. Jameis Winston, 1-year deal with the Saints. Philip Lindsay got the second-round restricted tender. Don't care about him. Matt Feeler, 3-year, $21 million deal with the Chargers. I don't know very much about this guy. That is somebody I would have kicked the tires on, but he wasn't really on my radar. Titans receiver Corey Davis reached a 3-year, $37.5 million deal. A lot of people wanted to bring in Corey Davis to be the replacement for Lockett, and I don't understand this. I don't understand it. Why would you trade an expensive veteran just to go get another expensive veteran? What's the point? If I'm trading Lockett, I would want to get somebody who is cheap, a rookie. So yeah, don't get that personally. Let's keep going through here. Oh yeah, the 2 players that we lost. The 2 players that we lost. Carlos Hyde and Philip Dorsett. I don't see how anybody can be too upset about losing those 2 guys. I don't see it. I don't see it. So whatever. Hyde was nice. Not worth $6 million over 2 years for me. I would have given him 1 year, $2 million. 2 years, $6 million for a guy like him is just bad business, I think. Philip Dorsett, I don't think anybody's going to miss him. Rob Gronkowski coming back to the Bucs on a 1 year deal worth $10 million. No real interest there. Let's see here. Ronald Darby got 3 years, $30 million. Pass, especially on that price tag. Get out of here. Joe Thomas signed with the Houston Texans, 1 year, $2 million. Whatever. Leonard Floyd re-signed with the Rams, 4 years, $64 million. Not really that interested in him. I don't know if he can play end. Nelson Aguilar got a 2 year, $26 million deal. Yeah, pass. If you want to see another thing that hurt me today a little bit, it's right here. Yannick Ngakoue got a 2 year, $26 million deal. That is very manageable. That is very reasonable. And I'm a little soured that the Seahawks didn't at least drive the price up, if not actually go get him. I will concede that. He would have been a great replacement for Dunlap. However, Dunlap is still out there, so maybe the plan is just to bring him back. And that's pretty much it in terms of stuff that has happened so far today. So, these are good players. A lot of good players got signed. A lot of good players swapped teams. A lot of good players moved around. I know that. But I don't think this is the time to start freaking out and getting really unhappy about the way this team is doing business. Odds are a lot of the teams that signed big contracts with players today will at some point grow to regret them because they're so big, so long-term, and have so much guaranteed. So, yeah. I want to remind you guys, spending big money on the first day of free agency is typically something that only happens to teams that have a ton of cap room. Typically, you won't see the teams that have little to no cap room doing much of anything on the first day of free agency. I think I probably missed a couple of, by the way, I think the Patriots signed a few more guys. I can't think of all of them off the top of my head. Yeah, I said Aguilar. I said Mills. I said, obviously, they brought back Cam Newton. Yeah, bad teams. Well, bad teams and teams that have a lot of cap room tend to go hand in hand. Well, Green Earth, if he is, then he needs butt cream medicine because he has an overly sensitive butt. Oh, yeah, Nelson Aguilar. They got Kendrick Bourne, too, which I don't understand. Is it just me, or is Kendrick Bourne, like, really, really bad at football? I don't know. I don't get that one. But I don't think today is the day to get upset, guys. Today is the day to maybe feel a little antsy and impatient. And today's the day to start maybe kind of hoping we do something. Dark Shadows. No spammy. But anyway, yeah. I don't know, guys. There are some teams out there today that got good players, but they had to pay out the nose for them. And that includes the really, really awesome players like Thuney. I think Thuney's probably a $60 million player. He got 80. I think Lindsley was a $40 million player at best, and he got 62. And, all right, so who is left? Because, look, I don't know how much you guys liked my offseason plan for the Seahawks. I posted it earlier today. I went over what I wanted this team to do. You may like what I proposed. You may not like what I proposed. But let's assume for a second that what I proposed is good. I wanted 3 guys to bring in from free agency. I wanted Everett. I wanted Jamal Williams. And I wanted... well, no, not Dunlap. I wanted Everett, Williams, and Lindsley. The thing is... you can replace Lindsley with a guy like David Andrews, who I really like. I think David Andrews is a very good center. I think David Andrews is highly regarded around the league as being a quality center. So I think that if you swapped out that perfect offseason and put in Andrews instead of Lindsley, that's a great offseason. I would be very happy with that offseason. Now, throw Dunlap in there as well, but I don't really count him because he was on the team last year. That's kind of like re-signing somebody, but I know it's a little different technically, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, there are still going to be roster cuts. Y2K is correct. Well, the Mariners are having fans. If the Mariners are having fans, the Seahawks should have fans too. That's ridiculous. Okay, so if you don't get David Andrews, there's Ted Karras. If you don't get Ted Karras, there's Austin Ryder. If you don't get any of those guys, you can scrape around a little bit for Austin Blythe, Alex Mack, or again, Ethan Posick. Posick is not bad. He's not great. So this is far from over. This is nowhere close to being over. I don't think anybody should be freaking out by what they're seeing right now. The Seahawks have realistically lost one player, maybe two, that they really were probably hungry for. Left guard. Okay. I said this at the start of the stream, and I'm going to say it again. Left guard is a position that I really like in the draft. I think there are a lot of good guards in this draft. I've been over the list, but Wyatt Davis, Ben Cleveland, David Moore, there are a lot of guys that I like at that second, third, maybe even fourth round spot. I don't like the centers in this draft very much. I made a couple videos about this, but I don't like the centers in this draft all that much. So I think we can handle left guard in the draft. I have no issue with that. Maybe we have to trade up to get Wyatt Davis a little bit, but I think we can handle that position in the draft. Well, Robert, we need somebody. We need somebody who we know can be a competent corner, outside corner, and I don't want Shaq because he's too expensive. What are our chances that we have a top 10 offensive line next year? Look, I think that's pretty solid. Dwayne Brown and Brandon Shell on the outside, Rookie X and Damian Lewis on the inside, and then the center is like David Andrews or something. I think that's good. I don't know what Trent Williams would do on this team. I don't think we need to sign Trent Williams to go fetch water for Dwayne Brown. So yeah, we have 67 people in the chat right now. I want to give a shout out to everybody who showed up today. So before I start diving into more discussion points, I want to ask everybody in the stream, please like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want daily Seahawks content. I post almost every day. Consider becoming a channel member for $2 a month or $5 a month if you want to gain access to perks. And donations through Super Chat or PayPal or Cash App are always appreciated and help keep the channel going. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to start taking comments now. Obviously, there were a ton of comments when I was going through my chapter and verse. So I'm going to do the best I can. What other guard other than Wyatt catches your eye in the draft? Robert, I like David Moore and I like Ben Cleveland. Daniel, you are better than Real Hawk Talk, even though Real Hawk Talk is okay. Real Hawk Talk's all right, yeah. I watch them sometimes. I think they're pretty good. Y2K, according to Lookout Landing, the Mariners have a 0% chance of winning the division. Well, I got to believe it's a little higher than that. 13, if Shaq leaves, do you think his brother leaves next year? No. No, because I think he's going to leave this year. I don't know why we would keep Shaquem, and I don't know why he would want to be here. I miss the game streams. They will be coming back next week, Drop Top. They will be coming back next week. That's all I got for you. All right. We're going to do them when his computer is good. Yes, exactly. Green Earth is correct. Hey, the Lion Bros. Welcome to the stream, buddy. J.A. Bricks. As a Packer fan, Williams is going to be missed. I think Jamal Williams is really good. Yeah. I really would like to bring him in. The team, look, cap is not the problem, really. We don't have as much cap room as other teams. We don't. There are a ton of teams out there that have more cap room and cap flexibility than we do. It just is what it is. However, we have enough cap room to bring in enough good players to make 2021 potentially special. Alex Leatherwood, is he the Alabama guard? He seemed all right, too. Okay, so, yes, teams were able to outbid us for Thuney. Teams were able to outbid us for Lindsley. It is what it is, guys. Sometimes somebody just has a little more money than you. Sometimes somebody just has a little more flexibility than you. But there is enough money in our cap to bring in a good center and bring back some of our key guys from last year and give us a decent tight end. And like I said, we probably need a backup running back now for sure because we only have Penny. And I don't believe in DJ or Homer. Shaq has basically said that he's going to test free agency. Yeah, he definitely will. Any other 3 wide receivers that would help? Yeah, I went through a couple weeks ago. KJ staying in Seattle, I think he's gone. Why do you think Seattle didn't restructure Wilson, B-Wags, or Lockett deals? They deserve their money, but just do it to compensate for this year. Casey does it, Brady does it to win, so why doesn't Seattle? Noah. That is because we're not going to do that until we have a move on the table that we want to make that requires us to do it. Because if we don't have to do it, why do it? I think we're going to wait for us to actually get the deal that we actually think is worth restructuring for, and then we're going to do it. Why do it before? For all we know, every player in free agency is going to get offered $100 million. So why not wait? Hey, Brendon, I missed a lot of the stream, but what have you been talking about so far? First day of free agency. How much do you think it would cost us to get William Jackson? Something like 3 years, $20 million, 3 years, $21 million. Do you think teams who are already miles over the cap should get some kind of penalty for signing players for huge contracts? Not as long as they can get under the cap in time and follow the rules. Now, the NFL has a history of looking the other way when teams don't follow the rules. But, yeah, I don't think there's a penalty involved unless you actually break the rules. Can we get Leatherwood with the 36th pick or trade up? I think so. Alex Collins is our backup. Okay, Alex Collins has a little bit in him, but I don't love him depending on him as a backup. Did you see we're interested in Sam Darnold? I wouldn't worry about that too much right now. I just hope the Seahawks will still be aggressive on free agency. We have to be aggressive in the right ways. Do you think David Andrews signs here? That would be my preferred route right now. I would like to bring in David Andrews. He's my next guy up. Thoughts on signing Try Turner? Who signed Try Turner? Who signed him? Yeah, I saw that, big dog. Will you be streaming free agency tomorrow? No, because technically free agency doesn't start until Wednesday. So hopefully nothing huge goes down before Wednesday. And I'm working tomorrow anyway. I can't stream free agency tomorrow. I'll be starting streaming on Wednesday. Why is Pete considering Sam Darnold? I mean, he's talented. He went number 3 in the draft. That means something. By the way, sorry about my throat tonight, guys. Did somebody sign Try Turner, or are you just talking about hypothetically signing Try Turner? If you don't want to draft a guard, that's not a bad idea, but I really think drafting a guard would be preferable. Gonna throw that back up. Oh, okay, yeah, Chrissy. It's not a bad idea, but I think you could do better in the draft. Well, yeah, Ethan, they do. Carlos Dunlap for cheap Desmond King and Zachers. I don't know why we need Desmond King. Why do we need Desmond King? He's a nickel corner. We have nickel corners. I don't understand the Desmond King thing. That's one that is a mystery to me. So, tomorrow, it's still technically the first wave of free agency, but we might start to see some of these offers come down a little bit, enough for us to be in play for some of these players. So, main thing I'm keeping an eye on is center. I'm keeping an eye on tight end as well because I really feel like we need better things happening at tight end. Yeah, Chrissy has a really nice plan for an offseason in mind, I think, right there. Bring in Andrews, Gerald Everett, Jamal Williams, bring back Dunbar, Puna, Dunlap, Ben Cleveland, or Wyatt Davis. Marlon Mack, that'd be okay. I like Jamal Adams better, honestly. What do you think of the Patriots signings? I think they overpaid. They probably did, but they decided they'd rather overpay than potentially be left out in the cold, which I understand. I mean, you know, who's going to be happier? Patriots fans. I'm sorry. Who's going to be happier? Patriots fans if the Patriots overpay for a bunch of free agents who don't live up to their contracts but still play, or Seahawks fans if we just don't sign anybody. Like, it's not even close, right? Samvith, Hunter Henry. I feel like Hunter Henry's too injury prone. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else, but I feel like he gets hurt too much. Yeah, I know, Biohazard. It really has. Well, I know Marlon Mack is a running back mask. That's why I said I'd rather have Jamal Williams, but any remaining offensive line worth considering? Oh, a ton, Zua. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell people. Like, we didn't get the exact players that I wanted. That's fine. Any fan that goes into free agency thinking like, okay, we have to get this exact player or I'm going to be sad, you're going to be sad a lot. You need to understand that there's a spectrum of options out there most of the time. Most of the time, you're going to say, I really like this player, but this player would be about as good. This player would be really good too. This player would be fine. Kyle, I would hope so, but for some reason, I just don't think it's going to happen. Oh, I said Jamal Adams. Okay, Jamal Williams. Kendrick Bourne isn't bad for me to poop on. He's not good at anything else, but he's good at that. Well, yeah, Samvith, if we sign no one in free agency, then I guess he's just asleep at his computer chair or something. Like, even the worst teams in the league, even the most irrelevant teams in the league signed somebody. Jesus. So, yeah, I don't think anybody should be surprised that the Seahawks didn't do anything today. Maybe you should be a little surprised we didn't tender Puna Ford. Maybe you could be a little surprised that we didn't re-sign, David Moore. But I'm not surprised that we couldn't win a bidding war for Corey Linsley. When I said I wanted Corey Linsley, by the way, I was assuming that Ted Karras and Austin Ryder were going to be bigger assets. They weren't. I was wrong. Kyle, they may be. We don't know that they're not. There might be stuff going on that we never have the opportunity to hear about. Reloaded fan, I think it's possible. I think they may at least bring back some of the veterans that they want to keep, like Puna. Who do you sign at linebacker? I go find somebody who's willing to play for like $2 million a year at most. Maybe somebody like you could go bring back Malcolm Smith. But there are guys out there. I'm not too worried about linebacker. No, we have not tendered Puna Ford yet. We have not tendered him yet. I have to believe we will. It would be very weird if he didn't. If we don't, then I will have to assume that John Schneider is just hit the snooze button. According to reports, we didn't even call Corey Linsley's agent. Well, reports being what they are, I'm going to take that slightly seriously, but not all that seriously. Well, we're not getting Carl Lawson Dark Shadows because he already signed. Yeah, Zua, that Taysom Hill contract is a farce. That Taysom Hill contract is a farce, guys. It's not a real contract. It's just like he gets to like feel good that he signed the contract, but he's not going to get any of that money. Don't worry about that contract. Andrews, Ted Karras, Austin Ryder, Try Turner, and Austin Blythe, Incognito or Mac if you want to get somebody for cheap. Yeah, that's not bad. But yeah, the only things that hurt me today were Linsley and Ngakwe. And in the case of Linsley, I get it. Yeah, I really want to encourage people in this stream to be a little bit patient right now. Okay? We're not going to be able to outbid a team like the Jaguars or the Chargers or teams that don't have $1 billion invested in a QB. What do we do at linebacker? I think we're fine at linebacker, Y2K. Maybe bring back Bruce Irvin for depth, but I think we're fine at linebacker. You have Bobby in the middle. You have Jordan Brooks on the outside, Cody Barton, and BBK and Bruce Irvin provide depth. I think that's fine. Why do you think we didn't offer Zietler $8 million? Maybe we're married to the idea of drafting drafting a left guard. Maybe we've already decided we're going to draft a left guard. Yeah, Yannick hurt me because he was reasonably priced. I'm really surprised that Yannick... I mean, I'm not surprised Yannick got $13 million, but 2 years is nothing. I thought he was going to get 5. I thought he was going to get like 5 years, not 2. Seattle has till Wednesday to tender Puna. If we don't tender Puna, then I'm going to actually start wondering if Schneider just is still on vacation. Thoughts on offseason next year? Hey, we're going to have a lot of room, obviously, but it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter if we're blowing up the team and we're trading Wilson and firing everybody. So we have to steady the ship this year. KJ... Okay, somebody in my chat just suggested KJ Wright should move to end. Okay, I think this is the part of the night where people are getting a little drunk and we maybe need to consider, like, scaling back. Dark Shadows, that's kind of an impossible question to answer. Because if the season started right now, our center would be Kyle Fuller. I don't think that's a good faith question. I don't know if we would win more than 3 games with the team right now, but that doesn't mean anything. We haven't even had a draft yet. That's not a real question, I don't think. No. If the season started right now, our corners would be DJ Reed and Trey Flowers. I don't know if it's Super Bowl or bust, Tyler, but it is do something impressive, win a playoff game, get to the NFC title game. I don't want Trent Williams. David Andrews would be a great idea, though, Republican Empire Productions. Yeah, I don't want Shaq for that much. I have no interest in paying Shaq that much money. Hey, Brandon. Shervin, sign me up for that. I say just bring back Dunbar, draft some late round. Yes, I want to bring back Dunbar. Yeah, Kyle, if we don't cut Wagner next year, then I give up. I don't know what to say anymore. It's so obvious. Of course, 100 times out of 100, you cut your middle linebacker making $20 million when he's 31 years old. But you're probably right. We probably won't do it because, why would we? We love Bobby. He's such a good guy, and that's worth $20 million. But yeah, I want to bring back somebody who I know is capable of playing pretty well. Anybody in mind at the cornerback spot? Yeah, Dunbar and then DJ Reed. And then behind them you have Trey Flowers and Ryan Neal. And then I would draft Tyson Campbell out of Georgia. Shervin, if we trade Lockett, then we can draft a receiver with that pick in like the second round. There are a lot of good receivers in this draft. I'm going to let Kyle address that because he knows the receivers in this draft better than me. But Kyle likes some of the receivers we could get if we traded Lockett for a decent pick. Curtis Samuel's interesting Republic, but I wouldn't give him more than like 6 or 7 million. At the same price you want Dunlap or Shaq. At the same price, Shaq, but they're not. I mean, Dunbar, I don't think Dunbar is going to get hardly anything. Are there any other obvious cuts for next season? Whew. Well, not Dwayne Brown anymore. Shell will be a free agent. It might be Dunbar if we give him the 2-year deal like I want us to. Yeah, Rondell Moore. I think I liked Kadarius Toney when I looked him up, but I don't remember very much about him. Yeah. We can't, Dark Shadows, we can't get 5 first-rounders in a trade. We can only get 3 at max. Yeah, I know, Brandon. This is why I stopped commenting on Facebook most of the time. Like people, I'm in some Seahawks groups on Facebook, and these people are just out of pocket. Shervin, there's no reason to believe he's not. Dark Shadows, whoever he is a weirdo. He needs to cool off. Okay, guys. I'm going to let the stream go for... I could go a little longer tonight if you guys want me to. Do you guys want me to stick around for longer than an hour tonight? I don't have anything else going on. What do you guys think? Should I stick around or should I cut it at an hour? Either way, we got 55 people in here. Thank you for coming out to the stream tonight. Please like if you haven't yet. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and want daily Seahawks content. Become a member for $2 or $5 a month to get perks, and donations are always appreciated. Okay. So yeah, the overall point of the stream tonight is, as of right now, I don't think it's time to panic. I just don't. I don't think... yeah. All right, I'll keep going for a little while. I just don't think enough has come off the board. And as a realistic fan, you cannot fall in love with one particular player or even 2 particular players. You have to be willing to understand that there is a spectrum of different ways to address your team's issues. And the ways in which your team can address those issues are often... You often don't get exactly what you want, but you can get what you need most of the time. Javon Holland out of Oregon. I'm not sure I know him. I'm not doing a ton of draft work yet until after I see some free agents. Is it true Asians are being hunted like the media says? Well, they're getting targeted a little bit. I don't want to say hunted. I feel like that's a little different, I feel like. I know it doesn't sound like it, but it's a little different. I think there are some like elderly Asian people who are getting targeted in public because they're Asian, but hunted, I don't know. It just means something a little different to me. Terrence Marshall is another wide receiver we could get in second round, 6'4". My thing is we already have one big receiver. Maybe the other guy should be a speedster. I really feel this was the year to be patient in free agency. I'm happy we didn't make any moves yet. I don't know if I'm happy, but I'm good with it. I understand it, and I think it's fine. Are any offensive linemen free agents falling that we could come up for? I don't think we can say anybody's falling yet. It's only been one day. Yeah, I know, Chrissy, but that was too much money. Remember, the cap went down this year. Kyle, look at 7th-round receiver TJ Vasher. I like TJ Vasher, Mask. I want to get him in UDFA. Do you expect Wilson to be pleased with Andrews and Rookie X as starting O-line? Yeah. Yeah, Noah, I do. Andrews is a very good center, and the Rookie X will be a second-round pick. That's pretty good. Okay, yeah, we didn't sign anybody for $80 million, but part of that is because Wilson is making all that money. So, you know, that should be good enough, even though our GM hasn't done anything just yet. Remember, everyone, we got to think like a GM. Yeah, and I really want to go all out to win a Super Bowl this year, but if you don't need to sacrifice long-term, then don't do it. Imagine having another huge receiver with DK. Kind of wish Josh Gordon was with us longer. Valid, but if we lose Lockett, who's the speedster? I know Metcalf can burn it up, but whatever. It's a little different. Think we can get Orlando Brown? No, not interested in that. Terrence Marshall can ball? Yeah, I would like John Ross, Mass Temple, but he's just a deck chair. We're not going to save the Titanic by moving the deck chairs around, okay? John Ross is just a deck chair. Go get him in place of, I don't know, go get rid of Penny Hart or get rid of David Moore for all I care, but that better not be the only thing you decide to do. Yeah, I think that Rondell Moore will be a second-round pick. Trey Smith or Deontay Brown. I think I like Deontay Brown more, but I liked both well enough from what I saw. I don't trust John and Pete at all, Joe. And even I'm saying don't be unhappy yet. I don't trust either of those guys at all right now, but I do know that in our situation, it's really hard to swap crap around and get these big-time free agents. I still think Russ being traded isn't the end of the world. Teams that pay their QB more than 10% of their cap really win the Super Bowl. Well, I think it kind of is the end of the world because the more I think about it, the more I start thinking like we're going to have $40 million dead money and no QB in a year where we don't have a first-round pick. That's terrible. That's a disaster. John Ross should be getting the veteran minimum. John Ross should not get one penny more than the veteran minimum. John Ross has done nothing in the NFL. He deserves the veteran minimum, not one penny more. Austin Roberts, yeah, FDR was terrible. Do you think we can pick up a tight end from the draft instead of the free agency? I didn't love the tight ends in the draft this year, but that doesn't mean there aren't some good ones. I want a tight end who can start day one, and I don't know if that's in the draft. Depends. Do you like Hilton as wide receiver 3? No, that's too expensive for a receiver 3. Do you think Schneider just doesn't care? I think that as a GM, you can't care too much about what people say. You can't get too caught up in, oh, this guy is saying that. I have to do this to prove him wrong. I read a comment on Reddit today that said, I need to do this, so I'm going to do it. You can't be like that if you're going to be a general manager. So I don't think he cares about that stuff, and he shouldn't care. That's like, I think the writing staff for Lost kind of got too far into that, where they would read stuff on message boards after episodes came out, and people would be like, oh, this should happen or that should happen or why aren't they doing this? And then they would just react to that and write ahead based off what they were reading. So yeah, you don't want to do that. Ben Cleveland is right guard or left guard? I'm not sure. I think he could be both. It kind of depends on whether or not he gains weight. I meant Cincinnati made him sit. Yeah. I mean, he's obviously a huge fat bust right now. Not this year, but in the future. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Brandon, I get that. Colts will probably match any offer T.Y. gets. Yeah, T.Y. I would be a little interested in T.Y. Hilton if we lost Lockett, but even then I'm not that interested. I don't understand the point of replacing one expensive veteran for another expensive veteran. If you're going to replace the expensive veteran, do it with a cheap guy. John Ross does not deserve 1 penny more than the veteran minimum. I will not hear anything that says otherwise. Landon Dickerson at center. Landon Dickerson is the only center that I would be down to get in the draft in the second round to start day one. And I don't like putting all my eggs in that basket, which is why I would rather get a center in the free agency and a guard in the draft. Yeah, exactly, Chrissy. That's kind of what I'm saying. Well, Brandon, Russ has no say. The Seahawks can restructure Wilson's contract anytime they want to without his input. If they don't do it, it's because they chose not to. That's kind of what I've been trying to talk about recently. Like, it's not because Wilson doesn't want to restructure. It's because the team doesn't want to restructure. We got a new OC that may change the philosophy on what players we go after. Oh, I absolutely agree. The players that I wanted to go after were within the confines of that philosophy. How about Creed Humphrey? I read some stuff on him that made me think he was going to be better as a power run center than a zone center, so I didn't like that so much. What guard center would you take right now? David Andrews and Wyatt Davis. Yeah, Kyle, I'm not too worried about that right now, honestly. I mean, running back, maybe. I don't want Eric Fisher. Eric Fisher's a tackle. We don't need Eric Fisher. Pass. Okay. Oh, okay. Old post. Sorry about that, guys. Pretend you didn't see that. We all know that already. Austin Blythe can play either one, Chrissy Whalen. Mike Davis would be okay, Sambith. Jack, I don't think the North Dakota QB is going to be there at number 9. Hey, T-Man. Austin Blythe is a good plan B. I'm not going to put him in the category with the plan A's. I don't like him enough to be a plan A. But plan B, you got a little something there. But this is kind of what I'm trying to get at, guys. If you're discouraged about what the team did in day one, just look at all these guys we're still talking about. They're still out there. They're still available. And the other teams are going to have less money to be able to go after those players. I hope you're right, Y2K. Although I hope he doesn't get on the field often enough to, do that, honestly. Yeah, God, this team really could take a running back in the first round, and I'm going to hate it so much. I just hope that Shane Waldron has enough influence to be able to say, I'm happy with Penny, and whatever else we can get. I don't want Gilmore OMS. Gilmore is a man corner. We need zone. Yeah, Blythe for 2 years, $10 million is not a bad idea. We should sign Dunlap soon. Yeah, I agree. No, Samvith. No. No, Shervin. I just... Okay. I went over this at the start of the stream. Today is the day for players to get overpaid. And almost every player who got paid today got overpaid. You have to wait. And you do have to lose out on some good players, yeah. But if you don't want to overpay by a bunch, you do have to wait at least a little bit. And that's what this team is doing. And given the fact that we have such massive investments at quarterback, I think it's reasonable. I'm not too mad about it. Yeah, Y2K, if we draft a running back in the second round, I'm not going to be happy about that. Yeah, Ethan, I agree with that. I think people fall into the trap of being like, oh, I know that guy's name. I know that guy's name. Go get him. We need to sign that guy right now. I know that guy's name, and he was in the Super Bowl last year. It's like, we fall into that trap. And I try to stay away from that stuff. I agree, Brandon. I agree. Okay, guys, I'm going to run upstairs and make a drink, and I'm going to come back, but I'm going to keep the stream going. You guys convinced me. You guys convinced me to keep the stream going, but I do need to take a short break to do some stuff upstairs. So... everybody turn on your Twitters and see if you can find any last-minute signings at the end of the day here, and we can talk about them. And if there are any other players you want to talk about, we can talk about them as well. All right, be right back. All right. I'm back. Let's see. Let's try to get a handle of what I missed. Keith Taylor in the 4th round. I talked about that a little bit in my cornerback video. I think that's a feasible option. Do you think the Pats are a playoff contender? I'm not convinced. How's Damian Lewis's speed for a guard? I think it's fine. Thank you, Chrissy. Who thinks Brendon's the best Seahawks YouTuber out there? Well, I think I am. I don't watch very many Seahawks YouTubers. I got to be honest with you. I'm subbed to some of them, but I usually don't watch. They can't hold my interest. I don't know what it is. Let's see what Schefter says. Nothing new. Nothing new on the Schefter front. Well, yeah, Noah. The Super Bowl is always realistic if you have a great quarterback who is enabled to be great by the pieces surrounding him. Sure, that doesn't mean it's going to be easy to get there, but it's realistic. Okay. If Russell Wilson doesn't throw that pick 6 against the Rams, very good, decent chance we end up winning that game. It might not be pretty, but good chance we win that game. Then we would have gotten to play the Saints, who would have been forced to, not forced to, but who had a Drew Brees who was clearly out of gas, which showed in his game against Tampa Bay. And then we would have had either the Packers or the Bucks, depending on who won the previous week. Assuming it was the Bucks, then okay, that probably doesn't end well for us, but that's how thin these margins are, guys. Even last year. I think it's very possible we could have BS'd our way to the NFC title game if Wilson doesn't throw the pick 6. Now, he doesn't deserve MVP votes right now. He needs to play like an MVP to be warranting of a vote. And as of right now, he has never been the best player in the league in any one season. He has always been clearly outshined. He may have been second or third a couple times, but he's always been clearly not number one. By the way, one thing I do want to say from today, if the Rams can sign a guy like Leonard Floyd to a $64 million deal, and the Chiefs can sign Joe Thuney to $80 million, we have no excuse. Those teams have expensive quarterbacks too. So I hope Pete Carroll saw that and was like, you know what, I don't have an excuse anymore. I better make sure I get somebody good. I don't want Janoris Jenkins. He's the kind of guy that I want to stay away from. Chrissy, I don't know. I don't know about that. Well, yes, he did Y2K. But that doesn't change the fact that they have an expensive quarterback. And by the way, I've said this before, I'll say it again. We can restructure Wilson anytime we want to. We're choosing not to as of right now. Who do you like at corner? I'm okay with what we have right now if we bring back Dunbar. Bringing in William Jackson wouldn't hurt either. I'm fine with either of those. I like William Jackson a lot. Oh. Yeah, I think we're done for today. I don't think anything else is going to be coming down the wire. Yeah, exactly, Ethan. He's been the best player in the league for periods, but he hasn't been able to keep it up. He had MVP in the bag in 2019, and then he screwed it up. Lost to Lamar Jackson, got killed on primetime TV by the Rams, and then it was over. Yeah, Y2K, that's kind of why I'm thinking we might not be doing it. We might want to keep our flexibility open. Yeah, it's midnight on the East Coast. Really, Chrissy? That's crazy. I guess it's not unreasonable, though. I think he's good, but yeah, that's out of my price range for sure. Really hope Dunbar's willing to play for pretty cheap because he didn't do anything last year. No, I don't. DJ Squabo, welcome. Ayaan, welcome. Austin, welcome. Y2K, I'm not sure about that. I think his speed is fine, but I can't say for sure whether or not I think it's great in that area. I got hot chocolate. Yeah, Green Earth, but there were some extenuating circumstances with that. Remember, there was no offseason, so defenses took a while to catch up. Gabe Jackson at left guard. If we don't want to draft a left guard, Gabe Jackson's good. If we don't want to draft a left guard, Gabe Jackson would be good, but I want to draft a left guard, so personally, I would say no. Thank you, DJ. I think that some people were thinking that because Wilson was throwing a fit this offseason, we were going to go out and just sling money at everybody. But I you know, it's not an on and off switch you can just put on because you feel like it. Yeah, exactly, Chrissy. That's how I feel. Yeah, Austin, everybody has aboriginals, Austin. Everybody has aboriginals. That's how history... Shervin, I don't know why Dunlap would be pissed. This is a business. If Dunlap is pissed off about that, then, you know, eat me. Sorry, you were going to count 14 million against the cap, and if we cut you, you count 0. It's an easy decision. And I find it hard to believe he was pissed. He's a veteran. He knows what's up. He's seen this happen 100 times. Players get cut. Teams prioritize money over the player. DJ, my number one target right now is probably David Andrews and Gerald Everett. Alex, welcome. If those guys get picked up, we'll move down the list. Bears got their new starter. I heard they were getting Dalton, but I'm not seeing any confirmation. Bears did sign Andy Dalton? Okay. I'm not seeing anything on Schefter's Twitter, but he might be on vacation. Yeah, I don't like Xavier Rhodes very much. Okay, so I guess the Bears are out. I guess the Bears are out on the Wilson stuff. No, Fournette is trash, Samvith. Get that out of here. We don't talk about Leonard Fournette in this channel. Fournette is trash. Ugh. Yeah, well, yeah, Green Earth. At this point, we have the Saints and the Raiders. And the Saints just signed Winston. So probably not even them now. So it's the Raiders or bust. And I don't know. No, Chrissy, he looked like the best running back in the playoffs because he got to play on a great offense filled with great linemen and great receivers and great tight ends. Fournette is Trent Richardson, but fatter. David Andrews, I would probably go up to like 10 million, but I think you could get him for a little less. No. Yeah, I'm not a Fournette fan at all. I think he sucks. He makes me think of like Eddie George back in the day. He would have these games where he would average like 2.9 yards a carry and everyone would be like, oh, he played great because he's tough. And meanwhile, he's got like 2.9 yards a carry. Yeah, Chrissy, I think you could probably get him for something like that. Teams are going to run out of money eventually, right? Teams are going to run out of money. Like maybe the Chargers had to give Lindsley that much money, but I don't believe they did. It's like when the Magic gave Rashard Lewis $120 million when they didn't need to. I would be all over that team, man. That's a hell of a deal, but I don't think he would sign for that cheap. Mitchell Schwartz is in talks with Seattle. Okay, I don't know how to feel about that. Mitchell Schwartz is really good and would be a big upgrade to our line, but it's not something that we need because Shell is good enough. We have positions on our offensive line that are not even close to good enough. So, I have mixed thoughts on that one. I guess it's a good thing, but it still leaves us with problems. It leaves us with issues. Mitchell Schwartz is the Chiefs' right tackle. I think he played the entire postseason run 2 years ago, the Super Bowl run where he didn't give up a single pressure in the whole playoffs, which is insane given the people he was going up against. Ayaan, just do ! Discord. It'll come up. I mean, if you bring in Schwartz and then you cut Shell and then you still make sure you get a quality center, then okay, sign me up for that. That's a really good offensive line you're building. But if you're just going to get Schwartz and then have frickin' Kyle Fuller play center, then I'm going to be like, excuse me. Do you think we move Brandon Shell left guard? And I would not assume that. No, Samvith. Brandon Shell's probably way too small and weak to play guard. I don't like that. I will pass on that. Alex, can you, not clog up the chat? David Andrews, 4 years, $32 million. I would probably be willing to do that. Guys, do you guys not see Nightbot? Nightbot keeps posting the invite link. It's right there. It's Fire Norton. I have to believe our plan is not go into the season with Kyle Fuller as our center. I just have to believe. Guys, it is working. I'm looking at Nightbot right now. I saw Nightbot post the invite link 5 times. No spaces, Y2K. See you later, Daniel. It just increments the counter. Sign Blythe, draft left guard Aaron Banks. That is a reasonable option to me, yeah. I would prefer David Andrews, but Blythe is a good plan B. If we do go all in on an O-line, who do we have for corner? I think you can get Dunbar back for a reasonable price, and then I think you're good to go with maybe a rookie like my guy Tyson Campbell. I think we could do a little better than Blythe, but Blythe is pretty good. And he has flexibility, which is nice. Ayaan, they don't play the same position, so I can't really draw that equivalency. Gabe Jackson would only be good if you don't want to draft a left guard, but I do, so pass. Well, Green Earth, we need to mask the weakness of our secondary with a good pass rush, which is what a lot of teams do in fairness, but I don't believe we have the money to spend big on corners, and I don't really want to spend big money on a corner. If somebody falls through the cracks and is really cheap, then so be it, but I'm not looking to spend $14 million a year on Shaq Griffin or William Jackson or nothing like that. Jose Rodriguez, I've remade a Twitter just so I could buy a graphics card. I remade a Twitter just so I could get alerts for graphics cards. I'm probably going to delete it now that I got it, but yeah. Green Earth, the only corner I know of that is signed is Jalen Mills, and he wasn't that expensive, but he's also kind of trash, so. Oh, really, Samvith? I love that shit. Yeah, Wyatt Davis is my guy, Ian. I don't want Stephon Gilmore. He's a man corner. We play zone. Yeah, hopefully we can make it work with Dunlap. I mean, we have some cap room. We're just not going to sit here and do nothing all offseason. There's no way we do that. That's silly. I mean, would you rather just sit here and do nothing for a little bit, or would you rather give $7 million to Greg Olsen? I know which one I would rather do. Oh, yeah, Darby, 3 years, $30 million. Yeah, fart. All right, DJ, see you later. You week 2K. I like a lot of that. That's pretty sexy. I mean, I don't know as much about Aaron Banks as I do like Wyatt Davis, but I know a little bit about him, and he sounds pretty reasonable to me. Yeah, the Wilson restructure. The thing with the Wilson restructure is we're not going to do it unless we have to. Because why would you do it unless you have to? If we, I don't think this is going to happen, but what if you don't find your big home run free agent signing? Do you expect Darrell Taylor to pop off? I think he's going to have a decent season, but I'm not going to say he's going to pop off when he hasn't even had a real off season yet. Yeah, KPL got a little bit of money. Good for him. I kind of wanted him as a backup, but not at that price. Ayaan, I don't have my stuff up yet. I'm not ready. I might be able to start playing Madden in like a week, but I don't like Madden, so, catch me in the right mood. Yeah, Landon Dickerson is the only draft center that I like, who I would be willing to start week 1. Jack is my name. Anything new? What do you mean? How much would I give Mitchell Schwartz? That's a good question. I would give him Bulaga money, like the 8 figures a year. Dickerson could go to the Steelers in the first round. Yeah, he could. Kevin Pierre-Louis, T-Man. I might, Andrew. I'm thinking I might. Yeah, Chrissy, I noticed that. Yeah, week 2K. There's that Tommy Kramer guy from Notre Dame. I think his name is Tommy Kramer. I like what I read about him, but I'm not sure if I would feel great having him start week 1. I don't know. That might be a bridge too far. Were you surprised Thuney ended up with the Chiefs? Yeah, I was. Although I hope Pete Carroll learned something from it. I mean, it goes to show you that you can have an expensive QB and still spend a ton of money on other players. So I don't want to hear any more bullshit. There's no combine this year, right? There's no combine. So players are not going to have the opportunity to hurt or help their draft stock very much. Don't think so. Yeah, some Seahawks fans wanted Corey Davis. I kind of didn't. It's not the worst idea I've ever heard, but I don't like the idea of replacing one expensive veteran with another expensive veteran. That just sounds like you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, as cool kids say. Chicago apparently has signed Dalton, yes. Dickerson is not really a fit for this system. Yeah, I did a little bit of research into Dickerson. I think he might work out, but I kind of have that concern too. You week 2K. I don't like most of the centers in this draft, to be honest. No, Brandon, I don't think I would. That's not good enough. Dalton has no value right now. Has very little value. Allen Robinson won't play on the franchise tag? Yeah, that's not surprising. Oh, okay, Mask. But it's already happened, right? Y2K, there are plenty of guys like that. I made a video about it a couple weeks ago. Rondell Moore is a guy that a lot of people really like. There's, the Oregon guy. I can't remember his damn name. There are a lot of guys, Y2K. I'm going to go into more depth on the draft in a couple weeks. But for the moment, I'm going to kind of more passively evaluate the draft. Andrew, I think they should. I'm starting to think they won't. I think it's kind of ridiculous that they don't. What are they waiting for? No. Eric Fisher? Why would I want Eric Fisher? Eric Fisher just tore his ACL. What is Jimmy Garoppolo going to mentor a rookie in? How to commit male microaggressions against attractive female reporters? Like, he's not that good of a quarterback. What's he going to mentor him in? How to throw a ball into the ground? Yeah, I mean, there are going to be a lot of players that don't get signed until Wednesday or after. Joe Burrow's probably screwed for 2021. I don't think he's going to play. I think you could forget about Joe Burrow for 2021. I don't think Mitchell Schwartz tore his ACL. Okay, I'm going to let the stream go for about another 25 minutes. And then I'm going to get out of here. I don't think there's any more I need to say. Thank you, everybody, for coming out to the stream. We got 58 people in here right now. Please like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and you like the content. Think about becoming a member for $2 or $5 a month to get perks, and donations are always welcome. So tomorrow, I'm probably going to make another video at the end of the day and kind of summarize what happened tomorrow, if anything. Joe Burrow says he's playing week 1. Well, good luck to him, but I don't like his chances. I really don't like his chances. That was, if I were him, I would strongly consider not trying to do that. That sounds like a bad idea. Robert Hainsey from ND. Oh, yeah, I remember that guy. Thank you, Chrissy. Burrow is not a bust. Y'all are off a bean. All right. Well, so tomorrow I will make a video if the Seahawks do anything of significance. And I will make a video at the end of the day to summarize things if necessary. And if I feel it's appropriate, I may do a stream tomorrow. I like Tua's game. But that injury stuff is going to be a problem. Oh, Brandon, my room is being remodeled. Go and watch the stream I did right before this stream. My room has been remodeled, so all my stuff is in storage. I'll be getting stuff back in there this weekend. Yeah, you week 2K, and I'm cool with that most of the time, but this offseason I think demands a home run swing. I think this offseason demands we just suck it up and give somebody a real contract, somebody who we know is good. I'm fine with bargain bin hunting most of the time. This is not the offseason for that. Like, I understand that most NFL decision makers are stubborn, and that there is value in that, but when your star quarterback is throwing a fit like this, you do need to meet him halfway. And Washi, I saw your alternate accounts message to me. That's adorable. I think this is the year to bargain bin shop. Well, I feel like you need some stud in the middle. I wish I could see it that way, but I don't. At least give me somebody like a David Andrews. At least give me somebody who I know is going to be really good. Don't give me any more of this, BJ Finney crap. Yeah, exactly, 2K. That's what I'm saying. Carroll and Schneider carry themselves like people who know how to draft. But they don't. They suck at drafting and have for the last 8 years. They haven't had a single good draft in 8 years. So, because of that, you need to bust your nut a little bit in free agency. So, yeah. Washi, I saw the message you sent on your alt account. I know it's you. It's not funny. No one cares. Jesus. You have an inside source working on a deal with Tri-Turner. I mean, inside source or not. That's not the worst idea. My beef is that I want to draft a left guard, but Tri-Turner is probably still going to be pretty good. Yeah, Y2K. We got absolutely nothing. Yeah, we got absolutely nothing out of our second round pick as a rookie, so that's not good. Colby Parkinson did nothing. We got nothing out of... I guess DJ Dallas had one pretty good game. That was a decent draft class. I don't think it was a good one. Yeah, Brandon, I agree. I wasn't too high on Jonnu Smith. He's a good player, but I'm not willing to spend that kind of money on him. Washi, on your alt account, you know what you sent me, jackass. Knock that off. God. You said you had an inside source about the Seahawks. Green Earth, maybe. It would be something I wouldn't rip my hair out about, but it wouldn't be ideal. I wouldn't be crazy about it. Yeah, Brent, unless you want to count Posick, because Posick kind of got really, really unlucky. I mean, I've kind of already been over this. But I mean, I've already been over this. I don't think we need to have a massive offseason. I found a quality offseason that we could have with just, three outside free agents. And I think that's good enough. Try Turner has been good. He was not good last year. Yeah, yeah, and oh yeah, that's another thing about last year's draft. Can you not? Can you get off each other's popsicles about Jordan Brooks? Yeah, he's a pretty decent player. Yeah, he's shown that he belongs in the NFL, but that was still a terrible pick, and it probably always will be. And he is not, as of right now, I don't see anything with Jordan Brooks that we couldn't have gotten in the 5th round. Sorry. So, yeah. That last year's draft, not a good draft yet. In order for Jordan Brooks, that draft pick, to become a good draft pick, he needs to be like a multi-time Pro Bowler. He needs to be better than KJ Wright was, I think. Okay, because outside linebackers in a 4-3 don't have a huge impact on your team. You need to be like, what's the name? Darius Leonard in order to have that level of impact. I think he's a good player. I think he belongs in this league. But I think that's a bad pick, and you're not going to convince me otherwise. I'm not interested in outside linebackers in a 4-3 in the 1st round. That's stupid. Give me assets that help you win games. Outside linebackers typically don't do that. Unless you're Lawrence Taylor. Unless you're, maybe a guy like Darius Leonard, but that's the best of the best. I don't want Lockett to go. DK and him are good. Yeah. Well, he's a middle linebacker, just not yet. Okay, middle linebacker's a little different, but that's another problem. He's not even going to get to play his normal position until his 3rd year at best. No, Seahawks fan 9000, we should not get Deshaun Jackson, who has not been good in 7 years. Yeah, I mean, middle linebacker is a little different. I still don't think it's a good pick, guys. A lot of a player's value comes when they're on their rookie deal. And most of Jordan Brooks' rookie deal will have been wasted at outside linebacker and not even playing all that much. All right. Only going to go like a few more minutes here. Is Jonathan Taylor good? I remember not liking him that much as a rookie. I remember not liking Jonathan Taylor that much. Was he good as a rookie? I actually don't know. Yeah, I don't think that's true, Washi. In my experience, most people blame Carroll for shit. Yeah, Deshaun Jackson hasn't been good for a long time, guys. Yes, T-Man, I do. That's one of my sleepers. All right, let's see if Schefter has anything new to say. No. Nope. Should have to hold it. No, Julian, we couldn't, and no. Just no. He was good? Okay. Still 50 people in here, by the way. Thanks, everybody, for coming out tonight. Wow, really? He was top 5 in rushing yards? Wow. Yeah, we're not going to get A.J. Brown, guys. The Titans are going to hold on to him like grim death. Come on. Okay. So, yeah, we'll know a little bit more after what we see go down tomorrow. That's the reason why he's dead. But I remember the Seahawks being linked to Jonathan Taylor in the draft last year in the 1st round, and I remember hating it. I thought it was an awful idea. I was like, I don't want nothing to do with a Jonathan Taylor at running back, but well, there you go. Rashi, you are a nosy mofo, you know that? Anything else we need to go over? I mean, we didn't do anything today, so obviously not really. But the overall point I really want to make here is that there's still a lot of players out there that we can get, and I think everybody needs to cool off a little bit. I think everybody needs to understand that NFL free agency is not about getting exactly what you want. Alright, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this stream a few minutes early. I said I was going to go 2 hours. It's been 1 hour 50. I think we're done. I don't think there's anything left to say. Oh, well, yeah, Y2K. A $10 million a year guy is not bargain bin, I don't think. $10 million a year is significant. $10 million a year is big time. $10 million a year is big time. Okay, so anyway, I think we've said all that needs to be said. I want to encourage calm and patience right now. Let's wait and see what we swing at, because I really think that this team only needs to make a few swings at things this free agency in order to put together a good team in 2021. So we just have to wait for those swings to come. Then once we make those decisions, we'll reevaluate. But right now I'm good. Peace out. Go Hawks. There will be content tomorrow, assuming that something happens. If nothing happens, then probably nothing. But yeah. See you guys tomorrow. Peace out. Go Hawks. Hopefully I'll be